You are now tuned into Club Therapy with Emily Chan.
Welcome back to Club Therapy. I missed you guys and I hope you miss me. Today we have Mr. Chef Ben here. Hi, Ben. Ben and I have known each other for a couple of years now, maybe maybe 4 years.
3-ish, yeah.
We met actually at AMPM, LMFAO, on a night out, famously. And Ben here is actually one of the founders and owners of Lunch Lady, which you guys might have heard of. Just a small restaurant. There's a Lunch Lady in Toronto. We have one in Vancouver as well. I've gone to your flagship location in Vancouver and I've been many times since. It's so good. It's one of my favorite restaurants in Vancouver.
Thank you.
Not just saying that. He's not holding a gun to my head. Chef Ben is also one of the founders of Nomo Nomo, which is a Japanese-inspired snack bar in Vancouver. And he also has his own private dining company in Vancouver and works as a restaurant consultant very casually, as we were kind of talking about earlier.
That's right.
Very casually. Yeah. But now you're so busy.
It's been a lot last little bit. A lot has happened last year and the momentum is still pushing us forward. So yeah, there's more to come and I'm excited. I'm excited to do it all.
Yes. I was going to ask, when did you start feeling really busy with all the things that you have on your plate?
I would say that gearing up to open Toronto, we got the keys in January of last year. And it was kind of every month, it got more real. And then you're like, oh, it's coming. And then that's when the pressure started to build up. And then that's where it was kind of busy physically, but then mentally, that's when it got really, really busy because there's a lot of people depending on us, myself and Michael, in terms of producing a good program. We're not from Toronto, so we wanted to make sure that we integrate into the community properly, both for the industry and the guests.
How did you do that out of curiosity? That must be hard because I've lived in both places, but it took me a little while to learn how to integrate into Toronto. It took me a few years before I felt really comfortable here, where I felt I had my bearings. How did you do that?
I think the first approach for me is I inherently understood that Toronto is not Vancouver. So the way you approach Toronto cannot be the same as Vancouver. The people are different. The food is different. The weather's different, of course. And so I became kind of a student of the city again. I wasn't, I know a lot, or we're hotshots from Vancouver. Let's quietly kind of enter.
Yeah.
Let's learn from the people and other chefs that I knew here and just take it one day at a time, step by step, and see what happens. I don't think we had some grand plan as to how hard or how busy we would be. We were just, let's just take it a day at a time. We know what we know and let's just ease into it.
It's really smart that you did that because I think sometimes restaurants forget about that, especially if you're opening up another location in a new city. Learning about the community you guys are part of, Ossington specifically.
Yeah.
Ossington is so unique to Toronto as well. We were saying earlier, it's kind of like Commercial Drive. If you guys know Commercial Drive, on crack a little bit because it's more condensed.
Yeah.
It's kind of a mix of commercial and then Yaletown, you were saying, Chef Ben.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Ossington's, when we first got the spot on Ossington, I didn't know what Ossington was. I'd never been to Ossington. I've been to Toronto enough times, but nobody ever took me to Ossington. And so when I went to Ossington, I was like, what's this? We just fell in love with the space in the building. And it's when you go into, you're looking for homes and then you walk into a space and you have a gut feeling, this is the one.
Know.
This is the only place where it could possibly work. And we were lucky enough to be able to get the spot, and it was lucky it was in Ossington. But Ossington it's crazy. I've seen it in the summertime. Even now, it's just a destination for people that live in Toronto or Ontario even as a whole. People come through.
It's the new hotspot. It used to be King West years ago.
I remember going to King West years ago.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Because you've been coming to Toronto for a while now, right?
Yeah.
You lived here.
My brother lives out here, so I come and I visit him. And he used to live on King in Portland, actually. So
it's a dangerous spot.
Now I understand what King in Portland is. At the time, I was just, this is Toronto. Okay.
It's so intense.
There's a lot going on, and we kind of just stayed in that area. I can kind of compartmentalize what area gives me what energies. And I'm like, okay, Ossington is this, King West is this. Actually, that's really as far as I know. I haven't even really ventured that far.
Really good.
Yeah, I get as far as Dundas or Queen, college maybe, and then I pause.
Honestly, that was me for the first 6 years of living here, to be honest. It takes a while before you feel comfortable venturing out. But it's not even being comfortable. It takes time to venture out. You need to sometimes, if you want to explore a new area, for instance, the East End or Bloor, somewhere on St. Clair West, you need to give yourself at least a half a day to do that, or sometimes a full day.
Definitely.
So
it has to be intentional. You got to be, I'm doing this, or I'm going to this restaurant. And
yes,
that's, for me, it's always distance. It's 25 minutes away. That's far.
It's funny because 25 minutes in Vancouver. Where do you live in Vancouver, by the way?
Well, I live in Kitts now, but I used to live in Richmond. Nice. But 25 minutes is pretty much Richmond to downtown. Yeah. And I always say the comparable is Markham to downtown. Richmond is that suburb where it's a lot of Asians. Yeah. It's that vibe. But Vancouver's so small.
It really is. Right? And that's why 25 minutes in Toronto, you're still downtown, which is crazy. Whereas in Vancouver, you're in a whole different, it's totally different.
Yeah, it's you're definitely, you see the cultures change almost.
Exactly.
Right? Toronto, I went up to North York the other day. A chef buddy of mine's, we're going to North York to eat dinner. And I looked it up. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah, it's 45 minutes
away.
And
this is still downtown.
And it's literally still downtown.
Yeah, so that's weird to me.
Yeah, that was a bit of an adjustment for me as well. When I remember I first came to Toronto, everything just felt so far away. And I remember that's kind of what made Toronto for me feel a little bit more unapproachable and a bit cold when I first came here. Just because everyone was commuting from far away. I came here for school. I did my undergrad here, and that's why I initially came to Toronto 10-ish years ago.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it felt really cold for that reason. I'm happy that... Wait, where are you living here in Toronto?
I'm nearby the restaurant. I'm on King and Dufferin.
Oh, you're really close to the studio.
So it's... Yeah, I'm very close.
Did you walk here?
No. I'm not that brave.
You're not crazy.
No. I've learned to be... Uber's my best friend here.
An $8 Uber is... It's worth it.
It's worth it.
Every time.
Absolutely. I've endured Toronto weather for a year now. So I know what I can handle and can't handle.
Yes.
So it's actually not too bad today.
Thank God.
Today's acceptable.
Thank God. Yeah, today's okay. Still cold though.
Yeah, definitely still cold.
Do you miss Vancouver? Or I guess you're kind of back and forth a lot.
Yeah,
right?
I would say when people always ask me, what do you better, Vancouver or Toronto? Both. They both have their own charm. I'm more of a big city guy. I know that inherently. But Vancouver it's beautiful. Nature, snowboarding. It's calm. Amazing seafood, really, really good seafood, so good. Japanese food,
I'd
Chinese
say the
food.
Asian
incredible
food there.
Probably some of the best food in the world. But Toronto has amazing food too, more ethnic.
I would say it's more diverse, right?
Yeah, it's a true melting pot for sure.
Yeah.
So I feel kind of at home in both places now that I have business in both spots. So
I love that because you're kind of I don't know. I know there's a word for it. Someone who lives. You're bi-coastal.
Bi-coastal.
You're bi-coastal.
That's what I am now.
You're living bi-coastally.
Okay.
Yeah. Because would you say you split up half your time in Toronto, half of it in Vancouver?
Definitely. As of right now, it's a clear split for sure.
I must be because I know Nomo Nomo just opened maybe less than a year ago.
No, it opened in September.
Wow.
So it's 4 months old right now.
Just a baby.
So it's a little. It's a little infant. Yeah.
Yeah. So you got to kind of take care of it while also taking care of. Toronto is still. It's a toddler.
Yeah, Toronto's a toddler. Vancouver's kind of a teenager at this point.
Yeah.
So they both they all require their own needs at any given time and different versions of myself.
That's true.
That need to be there and need to be present. This is why I have to move around all the time.
Yeah, it's a lot of flying.
It's
a flying.
A lot of flying. A lot of fun though. Definitely a lot of fun. How many chefs get to do this?
Exactly.
Right? They would kill for this. So
you're very grateful.
Super grateful. As difficult as the job is some days and as saturated as I get, I'm still like, you wanted this. You should be grateful. Be appreciative. This is a privilege to be able to kind of move around and do what you love, right? And work with amazing people and meet amazing people. It's an incredible thing to be part of, for sure.
I love this. I love that you're saying this because it tells me that you have very humble origins, which leads me to ask, how did you go from Ben, from maybe, I don't even know when you started Lunch Lady or when even that seed was planted, but how do you go from that to where you're at now? How did Lunch Lady kind of come to be?
So you want from the top, or
Maybe from where did you start in the service industry? Or I could also do from the top.
I'll give you a quick blurb just because
Hit me with it. I'm very curious.
So I started cooking when I was 15. It was a part-time job. I just needed some money, and it was at this place that did weddings and stuff. And I just put together the fruit platters. I ran buffet stuff.
I love that.
And eventually I carved. I was a little boy, 15, 16. Then
In Richmond?
in Richmond, actually. It was a place called Fantasy Garden World. Yeah.
What a great name.
It's very interesting.
Very Asian.
It's gone now, but that's kind of where I started part-time on the weekends. And then
Nice.
I ended up in a Greek restaurant still in high school. I got yelled at a lot being the only Chinese guy in a Greek restaurant, but it was...
Builds character.
Yeah, it was a necessary thing. They called me Malaka a lot. Apparently that's...
I hope that's
Yeah.
nice. An endearing nickname.
Yeah, it's endearing if you want it to be endearing. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I went through that, and then somewhere down the lines, I'm going to go to culinary school. And I went to... The original plan was to be a teacher. I was going to go into education.
You'd be a good teacher.
And then... Thank you. Well, I still
And
kind of
you kinda
teach now.
still-
But yeah, and then I kind of pivoted off. I went to culinary school. I did that dance. I started working my way through different restaurants. You take a lot in your early days.
Yeah.
The industry is not easy, that climb up per se.
Oh, for sure.
But you kind of weather that storm, and you kind of figure out why you still love it. And then years down the road, working at different places, I actually ended up at the Keg for a bit. I was a server because I was super broke. Just
give me anything.
Cook's life isn't rich. You don't make a lot of money cooking.
Yeah.
And so I decided I'm going to serve as well. And I ended up pushing forward and being a front of house manager for 5 years.
Wow.
I got into operations.
You kind of done a lot of different positions then in the restaurant.
Yeah,
Which is
and
very
it was
unique.
very surprising. It was never planned, and so I did that for a bit. And I worked for this gentleman. His name's Kurt Lander. He was the original executive chef of the Keg, and he
Wow.
pretty much gave me a shot. He took a shot
Thanks,
on
Kurt.
me. Thanks, Kurt. Yeah, we won't say his nickname, but yeah.
We'll go with Kurt.
Yeah, we'll go with Kurt. Eventually, I decided I'm a back of house guy. I'm a chef. I'm a cook. I love food. So went back to cooking, started a couple night market stalls because I'll be a new business owner. And then from there, I became a private chef. Private chef meaning I wanted to cook my own food. I didn't have the money to open up a space, so I did something that maybe some people have dabbled in before. I opened up a little 6-person, 6-course private dining kind of situation in my apartment.
Oh, in your apartment.
So I turned my apartment into a restaurant.
Wow.
And because it was so underground, obviously everybody knew about it. And I went from 1 dinner a week to 2 dinners a week to 5 dinners a week to you can't book this guy because he's just so jammed.
Wow.
And at the time it was so cheap. The food wasn't amazing. It was $60 a person, and it was 6 courses. And they brought their own booze.
Love that.
So-
but I feel like that's such a unique experience, right? Because you don't really, I've kind of heard of that in different cities and stuff before, but that's still very unique having your own. I don't know anyone personally who's owned or even gone to experience that. It sounds so curated. I love that.
It was very fun for the guests and for myself because I was put in some interesting scenarios. When people go to your home and they feel very comfortable, they make themselves at home. And
Do they really?
I've seen people just go crazy, get wild in there. A couple people puked on my couch.
Right.
People started doing lines of cocaine on my kitchen counter.
Oh.
They were, "Is this okay?" And the hospitality guy in me was, "Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what? Yeah,
It's okay.
tip me."
Do whatever you want, right?"
Yeah.
But that was an experience. We got through that, turned it into a legitimate business. I started going to people's homes, doing the same dance. The food got better, thank God. The produce got better. The product got better. And then that's where I met Mike. And Mike was dabbling in different projects. And he's, "Hey, I got this project. It's called The Lunch Lady." And I know what that is. It's connected to Anthony Bourdain. It's a thing. It's something bigger than me. I want in. And he's like, "But you're not Vietnamese." And I'm like, "So? I can learn."
You can learn.
So he took a shot. He took a shot because Vietnamese culture and Vietnamese restaurants, they keep it within the family. They keep
Yeah.
it's safe that way. Everybody understands everyone. Everybody else is an outsider. Not that they're unwelcoming. It's just how things have always.
Yeah, I've noticed that at
been,
like a lot of Vietnamese, and I think that's similar with a lot of Asian restaurants, right? If you go to a Chinese restaurant, most of the people that are working there are within the same family. They're generally Chinese.
Yes.
Same with the Vietnamese.
People kind of stick to their own, right? It's not a bad thing, but it just is, right?
And I feel Lunch Lady has really changed, I think, people's concept of what a Vietnamese restaurant is, right? I think before you would think of, when you think of a Vietnamese restaurant, you think of a family owned and run kind of small mom and pop kind of shop with a very specific menu, which is, again, always good. But I feel Lunch Lady is a bit different. You know?
Definitely. Lunch Lady is, it's very interesting. It's kind of the evolution of what Vietnamese cuisine could be. Yeah. We modernize certain things, we elevate certain things, we tell certain stories very intentionally. And people always ask me, they're like, oh, are you guys better than that guy or that restaurant or that restaurant? I'm like, no.
All different.
We're not better.
Yeah.
We're different.
Yes.
Right? We're all allowed to be here, but we're different. And we're different because the people that make up the Lunch Lady, the team, the people, the guests, are all different. Inside the kitchen team or even the front of house team, it's not Vietnamese. We have Vietnamese, but we also have Mexican. We have Chinese. We have Korean. We have
diversity.
A Dutch guy. We have Nepalese. I'm Chinese, right? So I think that has allowed us to really kind of evolve and kind of share culturally different ideas.
I like that.
And that's why we're different. I don't think we're special or any better than another place. Our voice is just different. That's all.
I feel like you guys have a bit of a different approach. And I agree, it's not better, not worse, but it is definitely unique. I think definitely something you don't really see. It's when I think of Lunch Lady, I think of more upscale kind of, and more, I don't know if the word is innovative, but just again, different. You guys do fun takes on things. I love your beef carpaccio with all the kind of Vietnamese flavors on it. I don't know if that's a traditional dish or not. It is so good.
It is. We just kind of staged it to be more carpaccio. Typically, it's thinly sliced beef, and you have the herbs and similar ingredients. But the way we kind of doctored it up was so that people would unmistakably eat it the right way, no matter what. So we kind of staged the ingredients in the right spot. So even if you close your eyes, it still tastes the way it's supposed to taste.
Yeah.
And I think that was something that it was very important to us, that as creative as we became, if you close your eyes, does it still taste inherently Vietnamese?
I love that. And I feel like all your dishes do that.
Thank you.
No problem. I'm serious. I'm not kidding, guys. I am Lunch Lady's biggest fan. I've gone, I think, about 8 times since your Toronto location's open.
Thank you.
It's that good.
Listen, I appreciate it tremendously. Honestly, without great guests, we could never exist, right? And that's kind of the one variable that every restaurant needs and desires. We need great people.
And consistency. I feel
100%.
like with your guests, I feel like your retention's really great. And I feel that's because the service is so amazing. There's so many little elements that just make the experience so unique. Would you say that's one of the things that kind of keep you going when it comes to, I know you've been doing Lunch Lady for a couple of years now. Would you say, is that something that really kind of keeps you going? The feedback, the guests, or is there something else that's there as well?
I think with hospitality, there's a certain type of person that is just a hospitable person. You either can do it, can be in service, or it's not for you. And I think when you're that person that wants hospitality, or wants to give hospitality, you crave that stuff. You want to please people. You want to do everything you can to make sure they're happy. You're just that type of person, not just in work, but in life as well, right? You just give yourself. You do everything you can. You do it naturally, and it's effortless. You don't know why you do it, or you don't know why you get these kind of moments where you're like, I know how to make this person's day, or I know how to do this. But yeah, definitely, it's the driving force. You want to know that you want to be validated. You want to know you're doing a good job. And the true test of validation is guest retention. People come back. They're very happy.
Absolutely. And so I guess like going back to that origin story, when you started with Mike, and then did you immediately sign on to be I guess obviously you were the chef, the head chef right away, right? And did you sign on for that?
Yeah, so I'm going to share that. I've never really shared this with too many people. It's not a bad thing because obviously things have evolved now. But I got hired as the chef de cuisine. So the very first Lunch Lady, I was CDC. So I was an employee, right? That's how I started. And I was an employee that was new to Vietnamese cuisine, and I was leading the program. It was a kitchen that I didn't really build. It was a lot. I hit a couple breaking points for sure. And we just went through it. There was a lot of hype. Bourdain, they're amazing. And the worst part about it was with all the hype, we hadn't even produced any food yet. So this is a recipe for disaster right now.
Because people's expectations are then so high, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it's Anthony. This is related to
Definitely.
Because Anthony Bourdain, the story there is right. Anthony Bourdain went to the OG lunch lady.
Yes.
In Vietnam, right, and then spoke about it, or had filmed there.
Yeah,
right?
he did a no reservations episode at the lunch lady, the OG location in Saigon, and pretty much put her on the map. And yeah, and from there, years later, Michael met her, and then they connected, and we all partnered up, and we brought the concept to Vancouver.
For sure.
But it was so much hype, it scared me. I was scared. I'm not gonna lie.
I'd be scared.
Fear. I was just, oh my God, if we screw this up, people are gonna give us one shot, maybe two. We better perform. And it was COVID.
And and that too.
Yeah.
Oh, I felt so bad for Cameron. They opened up AM PM. They were supposed to open up 2020. Literally March 2020, they're supposed to open.
Yeah.
When COVID kind of hit. And I felt so bad for everyone who just worked or had or owned a restaurant or a bar or club in the first place. But anyone opening during that year that was expected to open during that year,
Yeah.
that must have been so challenging.
It definitely was. It obviously was a difficult time for the industry, for the world, but specifically the industry, because we need people, right? And without people, we can't sustain a business.
Absolutely.
So you throw that into the mix with being a new restaurant, it was a bit dicey. So we went through a year and a half of that, which was the food got better. Generally, people were happy. And then I actually left the project.
Oh, you left? I didn't know
Nobody
you
really
left.
knows that. I left the project for 4 months. And the reason I left was not because I was angry or I was upset or Mike and I had a big fight. Nothing like that. It's just that our directives started going in two different directions. And we're not aligning anymore. And at the time, we're mature people. We're business people. I was like, this doesn't make sense anymore. I'm going to go here. You go here. Now, yeah, that's just what happened. And then months later, we found each other again. Right? And I think we needed to kind of separate to understand what the project meant to the both of us and to come back together again. And lucky enough, around the time we came back together again, COVID kind of sort of ended. And then once we aligned, we started taking off.
Amazing.
But it took that kind of struggle and that maybe this isn't going to work. Maybe this is over.
That sounds really healthy, though, that you guys were able to have that conversation in a pretty mature way, kind of separate for a little bit and come back together and then work really well together afterwards.
Definitely. It was something that I think if we didn't go through that, we wouldn't be where we are today, because we deal with way bigger problems now. And we have to put a lot of trust in each other that our goals are the same and we are pushing and we are aligned. So
I love that. What a beautiful story. I didn't know that about that. I didn't know that you guys had that time apart, and then now you guys are just, and then after when you sign on again, I guess, to be part of Lunch Lady.
So when we came back, we ended up partnering up. We struck a deal, and then all of a sudden I co-owned the place, and then that just completely changed my perspective.
I love that.
And I was okay, well, now this has to work.
It's gotta.
Right? Yeah.
Well, we were kind of talking about it already, about some of the challenges with starting Lunch Lady and just becoming a part of Lunch Lady. But what was your biggest challenge, you think, during that time, or just in general? This could have even happened recently. Because I know, you just opened up Lunch Lady Toronto a couple of months ago. Or I guess a little longer than that, but yeah, a couple months.
I guess the biggest challenge with any restaurant, this is more of a general statement, is consistency. That's probably the number one thing that we talk about every day, we stare at all the time. We're consistency. I would say that was challenge number one. Challenge number two is it's such a people-driven place. Well, as a whole, right? Hospitality is, it's all about people. Challenge number two is making sure that the team you have behind you is aligned with your goals. They trust you. They're okay being led by you. And you make sure that they understand that you have their best interests at heart too. And that's something I think about all the time too, to make sure, are the staff happy? Is
How do I
my
do
team
that?
happy? Right? Sorry?
Yeah, how do I do that?
Yeah,
consistently?
exactly.
Yeah.
How to do that. And I monitor, and because there's so many levels, right? There's chefs, sous chefs, cooks in the front. You've got bartenders, servers, service managers, GMs, and they're all growing, right? And that's very, very important to know that your team is constantly trying to grow, but you have to make sure you can harbor that growth and make sure that they're always okay.
They're always happy. They're happy.
Yeah, I would say those are the two most important things.
I feel like
right?
it's challenging sometimes to keep your staff happy, especially because sometimes things happen outside of your control, right? And then you have to kind of problem solve and be, how do I make sure that this doesn't affect the staff too much? Or how do I make sure that this is delivered well? You know, I even see Cam and Ben go through that at AM PM.
Yeah.
When things happen, for instance, there's a major issue or minimum wage is going up and they have to cut down on costs in certain ways. Like, how do I make everyone happy while still putting the business, not necessarily first, but I guess prioritizing the business, you know?
No,
Yeah.
absolutely. I think every business
tough.
struggles with numbers and you can always rah-rah with the team and you have to maintain culture. Don't get me wrong. I think culture is so important within an establishment, but you also have to look at your books and make sure, hey, can I sustain this? Right? It's kind of depending on what problem happens, you either answer with a business answer or you answer with a cultural answer. For example, super stressful. The systems aren't in place yet. Cooks are super tired. What do? Unlimited beer. Here you go, guys.
That's your solution. That's such a good one.
At the time, listen, I can't worry about numbers right now because I might lose these guys. Worrying about that. That's not the answer. Guys, here's some whiskey. Here's some beer. I know it's a tough night. I get it. Show up again tomorrow.
Wow. I feel this really speaks to your experience doing in all the different positions you've worked in, right? You're kind of putting yourself in their shoes. You're like,
Definitely.
how would I feel if I was in this situation?
Yeah.
Love a shot right now.
Yeah, me too.
I love a few
we should
beers
have brought
right now.
something.
Yeah. But it's I
Yeah.
love that. It really speaks to your experience in all these different positions. I was just thinking while you were talking, I actually don't know that much about back of house. I don't know the different positions. I just know that there's chefs and then I think prep chefs, right? Or there might be another word for that.
Yeah. So there's a hierarchy in the back of house. We follow the French brigade system generally. So there's a chef de cuisine, which is Alan.
That's Alan.
And then there's a couple sous chefs, sometimes one, sometimes two. And in Toronto, it's Lalo and David.
Nice.
And then we've got chef de partie. So they're kind of area chefs. So they take certain stations and responsibilities, and they're kind of the next tier down. And then you have cooks, but there's also demi chefs, commis chefs, but generally it's cooks.
Okay, I see.
And then I'm technically the culinary director.
So you're not head chef, you're culinary.
Yeah,
director.
technically I'm culinary director something, whatever that guy does. Yeah.
So you're technically at the top, but there's also not necessarily a position in the system.
No, I'm not day to day in Toronto. I
Yeah.
kind of support the day to day guys and kind of give them directive and work directly with them. So I work directly with Alan.
Oh, and we love Alan.
We do love Alan.
Shout out Alan. Was there any moments, I guess, from when you first started where you feel it seems you are very considerate of other people's mental health, and especially when it comes to your staff? I feel you're very conscientious. But with you and your own mental health, were there some times where you feel it slipped through the cracks a little bit, especially when you're doing
lot,
so
actually.
much, right? How could it not? I feel when you're so busy.
Yeah, I guess with my position, this is an interesting question. Nobody's really asked me this before.
Yeah.
With staff, you have to be hyper aware of the energy of the dining room, the energy of your staff. I always tell staff, or especially front of house, to pretend if there was a little face above each person, whether they're happy or sad or indifferent. And so you need to be able to spot that so you can kind of solve problems. I try to do the same with the staff. I walk in, I say hi to everyone. One of my things is, despite all the restaurants, I make sure I know everybody by name, and I make sure I say hi to everyone, right? And I do this thing where I'm the Korean guy, I'll be annyeonghaseyo, and then the Vietnamese aunties, I'll greet them a certain way, and just a little bit so they know that they're here, and I'm aware of them. That's really, really important. For myself, it's tough when you're in a position where a lot of people are depending on you.
Exactly.
You don't really have time or space or the mental capacity to be, I need to do something for me. A lot of the time I do things based on, okay, I have a moment now. Okay, I'll just react this way. I'll just do this, or this is a quick fix, or I'm stressed. I'll just do a shot of whiskey or something to calm my anxiety. And so you go for those quick outs and you go, okay, this will do it. And then, yeah, have I developed some bad habits doing that? Yeah,
Maybe.
I've developed some bad habits. When my nerves are high and my heart's beating really fast, I know what could drop that.
Maybe a shot.
Yeah, a little bit of alcohol
It's literally-
really slows my heart rate down.
Yeah, and I feel just the knowing that even if it doesn't actually do that, right? It's just the knowing that it should do that. It does it, right? Last weekend I was so stressed. I was working with one of the other servers at NPM, and it was just two of us, and we had the whole room to ourselves, and it was so packed. There's all these issues, and people were having a hard time paying. Everyone was like, "Can I split this payment into multiple?" Or split this bill into multiple payments, and it was just a lot for two servers.
Yeah.
You know? And my intention going into the night was to be sober. I'm going to be sober tonight. I'm really trying not to drink at work. And I was sober up until 1, and then an issue happened, and immediately I was like, give me a shot right now. I had this one table that was begging me to drink, and I was no all night. I was no, I can't. No, and I faked a shot with them, and 1:00 hit, and this issue happened, and I was what? Give me a shot right now. And then I actually had 4 shots within an hour. And immediately, of course, I felt a lot calmer. The next morning, though, not even the next morning, right after the shift, I was kind of disappointed with myself. I don't know if you have that when you use alcohol as a bit of a coping mechanism, a short-term kind of coping mechanism.
All the
you
time.
know, and you're, I could have done this without alcohol, but alcohol it's just easy sometimes.
It is.
Although I'm not proud of it.
And that balance of life is so interesting. I always tell people, I was saying to you earlier, I am the good, the bad, and the ugly of myself, all kind of trapped into one.
Yes.
And they're all versions of me, and sometimes I do things that I'm disappointed in, or sometimes I'm not going to drink this much, and then you do drink that much, and you're like, oh man, that's disappointing, right? Why did I do that?
Do you use anything else to kind of cope with your mental health? Are there any other outs you have, for instance, exercise, or do you talk to someone? Do you have a good support system? So those are all good, or not good necessarily, but things that can help with your mental health.
Definitely. I think it's important to know your triggers and to know how to kind of deal with them and how to cope. And
you're
how to
proactive about it.
I'm very self-aware, meaning when I say I know the good, the bad, and the ugly of myself, I know myself, and I know what situations are poor for me and what situations that even though they're poor for me, I still kind of dive into. Kind of going, whatever, I'll just deal with it. Future me will deal with it, which is actually bad. But
future use, no, I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah,
I
but
actually have time to deal with it.
Sometimes with anxiety, you get a bit impulsive and you just do things without thinking. Even at my level, I still do dumb shit all the time. It's just that I have to deal with the dumb shit at the end of it.
Yeah, no one else. There's no you don't have a manager that's
nobody manages me.
Ben's mistake now. I now have to deal with it.
So I have to own it, and I take it on the chin. But yeah, in terms of finding kind of relief, I box. Ooh. I think hitting pads, getting punched in the face, there's nothing, right? You definitely release stress. For sure. And I got a great boxing coach in Vancouver. His name's Joey. He's a brother, and he knows. He's all right. We gotta hit some pads today, right?
Let's work through some things.
Definitely.
Today.
So there's that. I've had a couple therapy sessions, which I think are very, very important. I didn't know that I could understand myself that much better and why I behave a certain way. Gave me a little bit of clarity, not necessarily answers. It just it kind of led me to answers faster.
I love
per
that.
se.
That's a good therapist. That's what a good therapist is supposed to do, right? Not necessarily give you the answers, but give you the tools to find the answers kind of yourself, or give you the insight.
So that I'm not making any rash or poor decisions, and I could really be, okay, what am I supposed to do? And then lastly, in terms of, it's not really a good thing, but I like to socially drink.
Sue him.
That's an outlet, right? I try not to do it too often or too aggressively, but when I'm stressed, even my staff know. They're like, chef looks, he needs a shot of whiskey.
Right. And it sounds like you're a big whiskey guy. That's what I'm hearing.
I really enjoy whiskey.
I love that.
But whiskey's not good for me. Too much whiskey turns me into, it makes me evolve into a Pokemon I didn't want to evolve into kind of thing.
Right, your alter ego, Ben.
Yeah.
If you are extroverted in any way. It feels really good connecting with people, drinking with them. You come home after a night like that and you feel good, you know?
Definitely.
Feel warm inside.
It's social interaction. It's human
Yeah.
connection.
Human connection.
It's what we want, right? It's what we crave.
That sense of belonging,
Yeah.
right? And then alcohol doesn't help. Or no, sorry, it doesn't hurt. It
yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
hurt.
No, it doesn't hurt at all. I'm I'm not the type to be able to go cold turkey. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I could control and be less of that, less of this, so that I'm a little bit more balanced.
Moderation.
But I also don't really beat myself up too much if I'm, oh, Ben, you drank too much. I'm just, you did that. You won't do that forever. Kind of move on.
It's a one-off thing.
Yeah. Especially in this industry, you don't really escape it. It's there. So I'd rather learn to make peace with it and be, okay, me and that bottle of bourbon, we're good.
We're friends.
Yeah, we're
not
friends.
too close.
Yeah, a little bit at a time, and we're okay.
I was talking about this in some of my earlier episodes as well, but working on your relationship with alcohol, I am really trying to work on moderation right now. But I think a big part of it is making peace with the fact that it's always going to be there. I used to put so much pressure on myself to go fully sober. And then I would be at AM, PM, and I'd want to have a couple of shots. I'd have some really fun tables, or someone would tip me a lot, or I was just just vibing. I was
Yeah, yeah.
give me a shot. And then I would put so much pressure on myself to be sober. I'd feel so guilty if I ended up breaking it, which most times I would. But to be honest, what you're saying, right? Alcohol is so ingrained in the industry. You know, it's definitely hard to escape. So I think sometimes accepting it is just so important. There are some people who are sober in the industry.
Yeah.
But I think I have so much respect for those people.
100%.
I would have a really hard time doing that. Again, even going back to me last Saturday, I was trying, guys. I was trying really hard to go sober for that one shift. I was like, I can do one shift. Couldn't even do it.
Yeah. I completely agree. I think it's balance, and then being able to give yourself grace and know that it happens.
It happens every once in a while.
Yeah.
Do you think that because I know a lot about front of house. I've never worked back of house before. I've been a host. I've been a server, manager at AM/PM. I've done co-check. I've done a lot of front of house positions. I've never done a back of house position. And so I was kind of wondering about how is substance use really rampant in the back of house? Because I only, again, really know about the front of house. And I know it's quite rampant in the front of house, of course. There's just alcohol's literally right in front of you. In the back of house, I know it's not as accessible, but I do hear a lot of stories about people in the back of house having really severe substance use issues or addiction issues.
Yeah, it's honestly exactly the same, if not more, just because we are kind of in the back. Nobody really sees us, right?
Yeah, so you could be fucked up back there. And
going through the industry when I was younger, I didn't really understand all of it, but I've seen people literally, oh man, I didn't sleep all night. I'm just high on cocaine all shift. And I never experienced that yet. So I was, what is that? Right? And you would dig into the ice machine and you would see cans of beer in there, and
it's more sneaky. I feel it's more subtle.
It's more sneaky. I used to be bad with it when I used to just fill up a coffee cup with whiskey. and that was just a thing. But is it as rampant in the back? Yes. It's, if anything,
worse.
People, cooks specifically, the idea of having a cold beer at the end of your shift is such a natural thing. And that cold beer turns into 2 cold beers, into 3 cold beers, into shots, into more beer, and let's go out tonight. And then you do that, and it's the thing to be, oh man, I got so fucked. I'm hungover for my shift. And it's everyone's hungover for their shift, but then you just do it.
And then when people are doing it, I feel most people when their full time is in the industry, you're then doing that 4 or 5 times a week, and it becomes this really toxic cycle you get stuck in. Because I've only really when I've worked in the industry, I've only been at whatever place I was working at, maybe once or twice a week. So I was impacted by it, but not that much. That'd be a lot though, doing 4 or 5 days a week, and you're stuck in that cycle.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It becomes a norm. I think most of my cook's life, that was just a thing. You have beers after work, and beers turn into shots. You don't sleep that much. You barely sleep. You throw a little cocaine in there, which is rampant. Yeah, some Adderall. It's in the industry. And then everybody wakes up kind of hungover. You have another beer, and then you go to work.
I feel with the back of house, and would you say there's a lot of longevity with the staff back there? Do you feel there's a high overturn because of that issue?
It really depends on, I find that if the culture is good in the back of house, people tend to stay. And culture being people feel there's actually growth here. There's purpose. I'm becoming something.
They're part
here.
of something.
Or I really, the people I work with, I'll stick around, I'll do that. And also, it's do I like this restaurant? Who's leading the program? That's very, very important. I've left.
Do I align with their values?
Definitely. I've left jobs because the chef and I just didn't get along.
Right.
I was one of those guys who would challenge the chef as a cook. Yeah, I was really good at my job, but I wasn't necessarily the easiest person to deal with if you were a sous chef or a chef, because I would give my opinion.
To be honest, I think that's a good thing then that you have your own restaurant. That's why it's good you're working for yourself.
Yes,
and to be honest, I was the same, and I don't have my own restaurant right now, but I do really be in a management position at AMPM, and I also really owning my own business with my own therapy practice. I was always kind of questioning things. I was kind of curious about your take on that, just because I do, again, not know that much about the back of house. And I was just wondering, I do know a few people that have worked back of house, and I know that they, of course, have, not all of them, but some of the people I know have had pretty severe substance use issues to the point where they need to get help and seek support and get out of the industry in order to manage that substance problem. For some people, that's a solution. And to be honest, that might be the solution for me in the future. I'm hoping to do maybe one more year of bottle service. I keep saying, I said this 4 years ago. I'm hoping to do one more year of service industry, but I do think that I, for myself, need to kind of get out of the service industry in order to manage kind of some of my drinking issue. I don't know if it's necessarily an issue, but just behaviors, my drinking behaviors, because I do end up drinking every single shift I work at AMPM unless I'm on antibiotics or something, or I blacked out the week before and I'm kind of shamed out. I'm like, no, I'm not drinking,
Fair
but
enough.
that's the only time I'll stop drinking, really.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I think it's again, being in the industry, it's hard to escape. It's almost trying to be on a diet and then you're always around food in the restaurant. It's just very hard to not eat per se. And it's the same thing. It's very hard not to drink and not be social and want to have that camaraderie with your staff or even your coworkers or your team, that kind of vibe. So yeah, in terms of substance abuse in the kitchen, yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it throughout my career. I've seen different people go through it. The kitchen's one of those places where not everyone is necessarily there for career.
Right.
They're passing through sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's not every kitchen. A lot of kitchens have mostly career-driven people. Most people that are focused and they're trying to grow in the culinary field. But in some smaller restaurants I've worked at, or some pubs, I've worked at so many restaurants that there are those people who I've been threatened with an oyster shucker before.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because we were arguing over what type of oyster it was, and you're wrong. I'll stab you with this oyster shucker.
Are you serious?
Yeah. This was many years ago. Okay. But I'm also, and this guy was, I think he was fresh out of jail or something, and you win. You win. And I walked away. But yeah, there's all sorts of behaviors and characters in the kitchen.
I feel it's more of a mixed bag in the kitchen, whereas when you think of a server or host, you have a certain kind of persona when you visualize that person, right? It has to be someone that's a bit more personable and bubbly and social and extroverted. Yeah, that's kind of what you're expecting when you think of a front of house kind of character.
That's right.
And so I was going to ask, do you feel there's, outside of substance use, specific challenges that back of house kind of workers face, isolation, things like that, from being in the back of the house and not interacting with the customers as much?
I think being back of house, you're more challenged specifically because it runs a little bit different back there. The pressures are different. It's hot. There's sharp objects. You could burn yourself. And it's always, not to say that front of house doesn't have pressure. It's just a different pressure in the back. And then you have a chef, and hopefully he's a good leader. But if you don't have a good leader, he's more of the guy beating the drum, going faster, more, give me more. A lot of chefs back in the day, I don't know about now. I don't know the entire industry, but back in the day, they were promoted because they were good cooks, not necessarily good leaders. So you promote the best cook, naturally has the highest ego because he thinks he's the best cook, not necessarily the best at being in tune with people. So he drives the ship a certain way. So yeah, would I use the word abuse in the kitchen? Yeah, we normalize abuse in the kitchen. We
Wow.
make it normal for someone superior to call. It doesn't happen now, and it definitely doesn't happen in my kitchen.
Oh,
But
I
back
believe
in the
that.
back in the day, you did something wrong, you're an idiot. You're this. You're useless. Why are you so stupid? And you would just get crushed. And you would just have to sit there and take it. I remember one incident, there was a chef. I put his tasting spoon. I set up his station, and I put his tasting spoons in the wrong side. Okay, this isn't a big
You
deal.
got
but
your ass beat, didn't you?
he just. She's. Why are you so stupid? You're stupid. Oh, are you stupid? Just stupid. I'm, yes, chef. No, chef. Yes. And you're just sitting there, just taking this,
it.
going, oh, I need this job. I'm trying to be a chef.
It hurts your self-esteem, and I feel ego over time, right?
It does. It crushes you. And some people get weeded out by that because
I would.
people get weeded out, right? Or some people are dumb enough to just stick it out and just be like, maybe there's light at the end of the tunnel.
And there was, thank God.
And yeah, you kind of take it on the chin. And I've learned a lot about how not to behave, more so than how to behave.
Yes.
More so, I'm never going to talk to someone that I don't feel good when that is said to me. So I'm not going to do that to my staff.
And I think that's what honestly makes the best owners and what makes the best restaurants and bars and clubs, right? People who have worked and had these experiences in different positions, but also
Definitely.
people who have learned from those experiences and applied it then, right, to their own place.
Yeah.
So I feel that's kind of been a major shift in the industry. It went from kind of more of that traditional old school approach where whoever was best at their job was promoted, not necessarily someone who was a leader. Whereas now you see people are more open to hiring a server with no experience because they're really personable or have good connections and just seem a really lovely and trustworthy person.
For sure.
You know? And same with the back of house. Or if you're even promoting someone, people are promoted now based more on those kind of people qualities,
Yeah.
I think, versus their immediate skill. It's not necessarily about how fast you can punch something in and bring it out, or how fast you can bill someone out, or how many orders you can do in X period of time. It's really those people skills, I think, that are important.
I agree, because those people skills not only reflect to the guest, but reflect to the rest of the team. I think it sounds cliche, and it probably is, but attitude is everything. I'd rather get someone less talented with a better attitude. I think people that have more potential. I prefer to work with people like that, to be, at least this guy's eager, he's trying his best. Obviously, there's a minimum amount of skill set you need to have in a kitchen for you to be able to be somewhat successful. But other than that, I think I always call it team cancer. You got to be careful and recognize when there's someone in there that is no good for your team.
Tumor.
Yeah, and you got to get rid of it.
Yeah,
right?
we've had a few of those at AMPM. There's been a few people that have kind of come and gone throughout the years who have really, you can just feel it. It's just one person will really impact the whole team. And when you're working at a restaurant or at a bar or a club, you are working as a team that everyone's equally important. No one's above another person. We all just have different roles. But yeah, when there is one bad weed in there, you know, you can feel it.
Definitely.
Yeah,
it's just kind of in the air.
And there's tension, and there's people start to talk badly about that person, and
yeah. And it's bad for everyone. It's
bad for everyone.
It throws everyone off.
It's really a cancer. That's a great way to put it, actually.
I always say team cancer.
Team cancer.
But yeah, I mean,
such a good team now.
I'm lucky. I'm lucky we have such a good team. I'm lucky, and yeah, I guess I just feel blessed. Honestly, I couldn't have done this without the amazing team I have.
Mikey,
just great people overall that put their trust in me. And it's so weird to say. Earlier I was talking about my role and how I'm the chef and how things are going well, and I was talking about imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Right? A good friend of mine mentioned this to me when I was telling her about the story and how I behaved, and she was saying how amazing it was, and that's so weird to hear, because I never really kind of look at that as, oh wow, I'm so amazing. This is a thing. And then she's like, you have imposter syndrome. You don't believe you deserve what you have. And maybe that's true to some percentage, because I never really look back at what's happening and admire the success. I always go, well,
where you came from.
Yeah, kind of like, what do we do next? What do we do next? I was saying earlier about, in boxing, they say when you throw a punch, don't admire your punch. punch and then roll, move, right?
You
So
kind of apply that philosophy, I feel, to your work ethic.
definitely.
Right?
And you're very hard on yourself as a whole, especially being a leader. In the early days of Toronto, early days, it was like 6 months ago. But there were
Of Lunch Lady Toronto.
Of Lunch Lady Toronto,
Of Lunch
sorry.
Lady Toronto.
There were moments where I didn't think I would behave that way because that just wasn't my vibe. But things got so intense that I was, I have to be louder. I have to react a certain way. I threw an egg across the room.
Are you serious?
One day. I've never done that my entire career. It was a fried egg. I was going to be on the chicken rice, little crispy fried egg with the crispy edges.
I can visualize
It's
it.
delicious, right? So the egg hits the pass, and I'm like, the edges are burnt. Get rid of this egg. And there's hundreds of eggs coming through, right?
Right.
Same egg hits the pass again. I'm like, throw this egg away.
It's burned.
It's burnt. Third time it hits the pass again, I see it in a plate. I snatch it off the plate with my hands and the rice too, and I rifle it at the garbage. And the worst part about it is it doesn't go into the garbage. It hits the side and goes, and then all the service staff are looking at me, and then this young girl just goes and cleans it up, and I'm so embarrassed. I'm like, oh my God, what are you doing?
We snap sometimes though, human, and that's why it is so important to, as you now, right, to take care of your mental health at least a little bit outside of your workspace so that you don't have those moments as often, right? Again, I do think every now and then, if you do have a moment like that, you're human. You're not a bad person. I personally, if I was there, and I'm sure most of your staff, they weren't judging you. They're just, Chef Ben is angry. He's hit his breaking point. But I don't think they're judging you or thinking differently of you for that very human moment.
No. I beat myself up a lot because that's not the behavior I want to show and say it's okay. So I apologized after. I'm sorry, guys. Got a bit heated. Please, no more burnt eggs. Right? I'm mad at the egg, not at you.
Not at you guys.
But then there were more. Like, I threw some tofu into the garbage. I crushed a soft shell crab in my hand.
I'm not above you. I've snapped at definitely a few of the servers before. Even most of the servers, actually, sorry, not most of them. All of them are my close friends. And I've snapped at them before. I've snapped at customers before. Sometimes people come up to me at the service station and I honestly do this more often than I should, and I'll just hold my finger up and I have a huge order in my head or multiple, and I can just feel someone about to say something to me, and I literally put my finger in their face and I'm like,
stop.
One second. One sec, which I'm not proud of, but what happens sometimes. We're human at the end of the day, but I really do appreciate all of your insight today, and I appreciate just you coming in here and sharing your story, and also hearing about some things that it sounds you've never really talked about before. That was so amazing to hear about, and it really makes sense as to why you're so successful now. Hearing your origin story and hearing the experience you have, it really seems you've implemented that into your current work ethic and into your current businesses, and that's why they're all doing so well.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I'm blessed. To just circle back, I'm completely blessed. I'm lucky, super privileged, super appreciative.
But also hardworking.
Gotta be hardworking.
Gotta be hardworking.
Yeah. But no, thank you very much for having me. It's such a pleasure to sit here. I'm honored. And it's such a good conversation.
I know. It's just so easy. Yeah. I feel so lucky with all the guests that I've had on, but you guys just make it so easy to talk with being so open to share. So I appreciate you, Chef Ben. If you guys do want to learn more about Chef Ben, you can follow him on Instagram at cookingwithben_.
Correct. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Just double checking and see what stuff he's kind of cooking up. If you want to hear more from little old me, you can follow me on Spotify and Apple Podcasts at Club Therapy. You guys see that sign? Club Therapy. And on Instagram at Club Therapy Pod. But yeah, we'll see you guys soon.